Maybe before we get to that,
Yep.
I should tell a story, to be honest. You know, I had an issue when I was a young boy. And I'm not sure exactly how young it was that started, but it probably went from age 6 till maybe age 11. And I had a problem with my bowels. It wasn't, I didn't think about what the real problem was till later on in years. But when I look back, I think about it that I had issues with constipation so much that I would hold myself because it became painful every time I went to the washroom, because I would wait for sometimes 4 or 5 days before going for number 2. And so I had a lot of accidents because of that, because then the urge to go came when I was not near a washroom, or I was trying to constrict it from coming out, which made it worse, of course. So for those many years, my mother sent me to doctors. I got checked out psychologically that maybe that was an issue with this young boy, you know, soiling his pants. And at one point, I very well remember because she had gone through nurses and doctors for several years. At one point, I was brought into a hospital examining room. I was laid out on a table, completely naked, and there was a row of about 8 or 10 doctors all sitting in a chair discussing my situation and why I would be having that issue. And they would all take turns and come over to where I was laying on this gurney, and they'd poke and prod me, and they'd have a discussion among themselves what they might to do with this young boy. And I don't think they really found out anything very much. But one of the doctors recommended, well, maybe you should give, you know, your son an enema, and so he can clean himself out once a week. And I used to kind of hate that when my mom did it at home. I would just do it at home, and she would hold a bag up of warm water and plug it in. But yeah, I didn't particularly like that experience, but I felt really good when I had emptied myself out. And I was good for like a week and a half maybe before I went back to holding it in again. So all those years, I had accidents, and some of the accidents weren't cleaned up right away. So there was an odor following me and soil underwear very often. So that was an issue I had to deal with. It made me a very humble person. Very humble person. I had selected friends because of that. Not everybody wanted to be around a person like I was. And so there was a good friend across the street that I made, an English person that I was very good friends and grew up with most of my life. Roger Martineau was his name, the whole Martineau family, and even Rolly, my sister Rolly, was friends with them as well. They were really nice people. So it brings back to a memory that I was at school, and the tradition was if your birthday was coming up, you could invite a bunch of your classmates to have a birthday party at your home. And so that, one of those years, that came around to me, and so I offered birthday cards to various kids, and one kid showed up. And I burst into tears. And the mother who had dropped him off said, "Oh, nobody else is here." And I said, "Oh, we must have cancel the party." She said, "No, let him stay." And so we had the party with one boy visiting. That was kind of a letdown. It was hard for me to take that little thing.